I'm going to talk to Chuck. All right. Chuck is calling in from the beautiful state of Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck is a theist, and he wanted to give scientific evidence for the existence of God.
Beautiful.
That is what we're all
That's
about
what we're
here.
here for.
So now I want to say, Chuck, Christy is not a scientist. I'm not a scientist.
True.
He's more of a scientist than I am.
I'm a
Okay.
clinician. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I yell at people for a living until they give up. And so what is, because you might want to talk to some other hosts who are more science-y, but we're not slouches. What do you got?
Well, I realize you're not scientists, but
Yeah.
there's only two choices when it comes to the universe. You either join a religion and say that God created everything and God is making everything work, or the only other choice you have is science, which says there is no God. So there's no other choice in between there. And
I mean, science is a good choice. It's certainly not the only choice. Like, you can believe in all kinds of bananas things if you really want to, but let's just go ahead and say, okay, either you believe in God or you don't believe in God, right? Can we start with that as a premise?
Sure.
Cool. Let's keep going.
Okay. Well, you don't really have to be a scientist to look at the Earth and what's the universe, and see what's going on, because the universe doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't. There's got to be something that created it, and there's got to be something that's keeping it working, because it doesn't work on its own. It's idiotic. It's really crazy. There's nothing holding the atoms together to make a molecule and form iron plates and wood.
There's nothing
and stuff.
There's nothing holding it together. The atoms together. I don't think that's true.
Because the atoms are together. So something's doing it.
So is it you're saying it's sweet Jesus, Prince of Peace, that's doing it, right? I mean, that's kind of weird.
No, I'm not.
What are you saying?
No,
what are you saying then?
I'm not.
You're not.
I'm saying that my God. I'm saying that man is not an animal, because in the first place, man is the only being on this planet that has cheeks covering his anus.
Wait, is that what you were saying earlier? Because you're kind of losing me. Can we pick one thing and then do that one thing?
Yeah.
Also, bullshit about the cheeks. But let's just pick one thing, and we'll do that one.
Can I say this?
Okay.
And this maybe gets clipped. I've noticed my dog poops. Okay, he doesn't wipe. Too much information. He poops every day, twice a day. He never wipes. He doesn't smell like poop. 3 cheers for that, because I don't want to wipe my dog's ass. All right, but you've got a point there. Okay, but I don't know what the point is. But it's go on.
But it's a point.
Oh, it's a great point too.
Okay, and science is basically just another religion that takes the opposite side and says there is no God, and and then they do the same thing that religion does.
Religion is just a bad science, and I mean, what do these words even mean?
Chuck, I gotta stop you there. It's not just another religion, because here's the difference. And again, we're not scientists, but religion.
Nor do you have to be a scientist to not be religious.
Yeah,
or even believe in science.
Okay, religion starts with I think we can safely say it starts with a revealed truth, revealed somehow through the process of revelation. We can be generic as heck about it, right? And then they work backward from there, right? They work backwards from the revealed truth. Science is the opposite.
Well, religion makes up these theologies to support its point of view, and science does the same darn thing. They make up these idiotic theologies to support their point of view, and none of them are true, and they all come from the English, who are stupid, and they push these things upon dumbass Americans who are gullible they just believe anything that's in a book.
I don't, first of all, we've got our backup host is watching the show right now. He is English.
Who's that?
Okay, that's Richard
Who is
Gilliver. Okay, this is a smart dude. All right, He's not
No, he's
not
not.
an idiot.
Yes,
Richard,
he is.
I'm sorry. He is. He's a smart guy. We love him. He's
No,
doing
he's
a
not.
great job. He's not what?
Doesn't make any difference if you love him.
This
He's
is
an
getting
idiot.
pretty schoolyard, Chuck. I mean,
You know how
can
the
we,
English-
can we focus it a little bit?
Chuck, you're not doing a good
Do
job
you
of
know- do you
representing
know
the
how the
theist
English-
position here.
You don't know how the English system works, the English educational system. They don't have classes. They don't have professors. They read a book. They meet with an upperclassman a couple of times a week, and he signs them books to read. Their whole educational system is based upon books, just reading the book.
100-book universities are actually pretty amazing, but that's not what the English elementary school system looks like, I can guarantee.
Pretty problematic, those things, books. You
Yeah.
never know what you might find out.
I do appreciate, Chuck, that you have decided to be a little bit xenophobic towards the British, because I don't really applaud or approve of xenophobia
No,
or this
yeah.
othering process and the bigotry that comes with it. But I mean, I guess if you got to pick somebody, it'll be the colonialists.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
Rick.
you brought it up. I didn't bring
I'm
it
sorry,
up.
Rick. Chuck. You say the reason why I called you Rick is because you're starting to sound like Rick. But Chuck, you've made no points. You've scored no points here. And I'm going to say this, that science is the exact opposite of religion. You're characterizing it in this kind of straw man characterization, because
It's only opposite because it says there's no
Chuck, I'm going to
God.
go ahead and mute you, because there's one thing, is one rule, is just let me talk. And people can tell me I talk too much, but it's my decision to do so. But Chuck, science starts from observation, right? And then they form a hypothesis about the world. They don't start with a conclusion. They start with observing the world and trying to hypothesize how something happens, how something takes place, how it got there, how it develops, how it works. And they try to through using actual existing material or energy or whatever it might be, waves and such. Again, this is not a scientific person talking. They let the evidence lead them. Religion's the opposite. Religion starts with a conclusion, and then it works backwards to justify it. Okay? This is pretty damn well established. I would also argue that religion has certain other characteristics. Okay? There's usually a hierarchy. Okay? In science, you might have professors and universities and people who give you the sweet, sweet dough to do the research, and they might indeed sort of point the spotlight on where the money can go, right? But the scientists themselves are always combating each other, trying to disprove what other people have declared as a discovery. They're always trying to disprove each other. It's only after it's been disproven over and over and over again that we can say that a particular discovery by a laboratory or a scientific team has any reliability to it. And even then, it never ends. It's Thunderdome out there in the scientific community. It's not kumbaya, okay? Also, religious rites, ceremonies, things like that, okay? There is nothing. There's merely the scientific method, which is, as far as we know, the best way we've developed to discover new things about the world. We don't introduce... Here's the thing. If we ever do introduce another step into the scientific process, it will be through the process of science that we introduce that new step. It won't be through reading a 2,000-year-old book of, dare I say it, fairy tales. It will be through actually observing. And we have introduced new things. We can run now new simulations using high-powered computer processing, right? That's a new thing that we're able to do, to check and recheck much faster than these meatballs can do, right? And we can check the checking, and we can check the checking of the checking. We can keep on doing it. So that's a new thing. Science is ever evolving. Religion is ever holding people back to 2, 3, 4,000 year old tired notions of what the world is like and what humans should be like and how people should interact with each other. So, yeah, if you're going to say science and religion are the same, or science is a religion because it involves humans, because it involves interaction, because it involves, I don't know, declarations of facts, yeah, sure. It's so blasé, it's meaningless, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if we're gonna really look into the nitty gritty, they're the opposite. And science got you to be able to call me, got you to be able to look at my face. Science probably developed the medicine that you may use, that I certainly use. Science got electricity running through the wires. Science got the internet. Science got this chair I'm sitting in. These synthetic fabrics that I'm sitting upon. Wasn't through pray the chair here. It was through manufacturing science and developments. Okay? So science delivers the goods. Religion gets us killing each other. Okay? So I'm on.
And as an English person, Chuck. I am English.
Uh-oh.
So I'd like your take on what you think is wrong with me personally, and I would like to respond to it specifically. So what is it exactly that you find so abhorrent about English people?
Well, the problem is that England doesn't have any industry. So what they do is...
Well, we kind of do have an industry. I come from a city.
Are you going to let me finish?
No, you're going to listen to me, sir.
Yeah.
I come from a city called Sheffield, which has a history of steel manufacturing. And I live around lots and lots of mining cities. Again, huge industries in Britain, built in Britain, in fact. So I'm very interested in why you think we don't have those industries when, in fact, we do.
Do you realize that England lives off of welfare from the United States right now? The form of $15 billion every year.
Chuck, you seem to have completely...
We're going to do just one thing at a time, there, friend. One thing at a time.
Yeah. Chuck, you seem to have completely ignored what I've just said to you. Now, you said Britain has no industry, and I've just corrected that, and I'd be very interested in you responding to that particular point rather than moving on to another one.
Well, you don't have any industry. They train everybody to be Why do you have to have that $15 billion from the United States every year if you...
That has not responded to the point that I made. What?
Chuck, I think you might be afraid to answer Richard's point because you're flat wrong. If you're not shivering in your boots over Richard's point, then please directly address with some evidence how Richard is wrong. You're being unmuted. If you say something other than you're right, Richard, or no, there's no industry, those are cardboard cutouts of factories, then you are admitting to everyone who's watching right now that you're afraid. So go ahead. Evidence or retract? Evidence or retract,
God
Chuck?
Damn, will you shut up and let me answer? My God, you people have absolutely no idea of what a conversation is. I'm trying
Which
to...
people, is that English or is it the Americans on the panel as well? Because we seem to be getting a bit convoluted.
Okay, Chuck, give us what you got, and it better be on point, or you're getting out of here. Come on.
Okay, $15 billion a year from the United States. They had to give up. Clinton made them give up all the car industries because they were all living on subsidies. And they weren't making any money. It was just costing the American taxpayer a lot of money. And so he made them give all those things up and a bunch of other stuff.
So Richard says there's manufacturing in and around the area that he lives. Is he wrong? Is he lying? Is he right? Which is it?
Well, basically he's lying.
Okay. Richard Gilliver,
Yes,
big
sir.
fat liar.
Yes, sir. Apparently so.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Chuck. You're a mischievous prankster, and I'm glad you're having a good time. But I just don't think that there's that's any good. So I'm gonna actually get rid of you. Okay.
Sorry,
And
friend. Nobody's convinced.
yeah,
Find some information, find some evidence, find some data.